Welcome back to Zcoin. Today's video is going to be exciting and potentially life-changing because we're diving deep into the top 7 most valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins, some of which have fetched millions of dollars at auction. These aren't your ordinary quarters. We're diving deep into the world of the 1979 United States quarter dollar, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds secrets that could be worth a fortune. This isn't just another quarter you find in your change. This is the 1979 Washington quarter, a coin that comes with a variety of mint marks, interesting historical context, and yes, certain variations that are incredibly valuable in today's numismatic market. So, sit back, relax, and let's unlock the mystery and money behind the 1979 mint mark quarter dollar coins. To start, let's rewind to 1979. It was a time of economic uncertainty in America. Inflation was high, and the U.S. Mint was undergoing changes in coin production. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation for over 40 years, originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. By the late 70s, it had become a staple of American currency. But the 1979 quarter holds special significance for collectors, not just because of the design, which features the familiar bust of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, but because of its mint variations and the way it was produced during that specific year. Let's talk about the mint marks. In 1979, the Washington quarter was minted at 3 different facilities. Philadelphia, which in 1979 did not use a mint mark, so any quarter without a mint mark was made here. Denver, using the D mint mark. San Francisco, using the S mint mark. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Philadelphia quarters are by far the most common. Hundreds of millions were struck, over 515 million to be exact. Denver struck even more, nearly 489 million. But the real story begins with the San Francisco Mint. You see, San Francisco in 1979 wasn't making quarters for circulation. Instead, they were striking proof coins, high-quality collector coins using specially polished dies and planchets. These proof coins were sold to collectors in sets and never meant for general circulation. Among these proof quarters from San Francisco, there are 2 distinct varieties that collectors go wild for: the Type 1 and Type 2S mint mark varieties. Type 1 has a filled or blob-like S. This was the earlier version used in the year. But due to poor clarity and die wear, the mint later changed to a clearer, sharper S. This is the Type 2. Type 2 is rarer, much rarer, and that's why it commands a much higher premium. Let me give you some examples. As of today, a 1979 S-Type 2 proof quarter in PR69 deep cameo condition can fetch anywhere from $200 to $500 depending on demand and the coin market at that time. A perfect PR70 DCAM example, graded by PCGS or NGC, can go for upwards of $1,000 to $2,000. That's right. A single quarter, just 25 cents in face value, can be worth more than your rent if it's the right kind. Now you might be asking, what about the regular Philadelphia and Denver quarters? Are they worth anything? In general, circulated 1979 P and 1979 D quarters are still only worth face value. But if you have one in mint state, let's say MS65 or higher, it could bring in anywhere from $5 to $50. In higher grades like MS67 or above, especially if certified by PCGS or NGC, values can soar. Some MS67 examples have sold for over $200, especially if the coin has full luster, no contact marks, and sharp details. The highest graded examples known, MS68, are extremely rare and could fetch between $500 and $1,000 at auction. So, while these aren't as valuable as the San Francisco proof varieties, there's still money in those mint state circulation coins. Let's not forget the errors. Yes, error coins are where some of the real treasure lies. In 1979, due to high production volume, a number of error quarters were released into circulation. Look out for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, broad strikes. A dramatic off-center strike could be worth anywhere from $100 to $300 depending on the severity and eye appeal. Double die obverse or reverses, if verified, can skyrocket in value, often fetching several $100s or more. These errors are rare, but they are out there. Maybe even in your pocket right now. If you think you found a valuable 1979 quarter, here's what you should do. First, inspect the mint mark under a magnifier. Look for the S on proof coins and determine if it's a Type 1 or the rarer Type 2. Second, Examine the overall condition. Look for sharp details on George Washington's hair, the feathers on the eagle, and no signs of wear. A coin in uncirculated condition will have a bright luster and no scratches or dings. Third, consider getting it professionally graded. This adds authenticity and boosts the value for resale. PCGS and NGC are the two most trusted services in the world of coin collecting. So, what's the current market like for 1979 quarters? As of this year, demand remains strong. The Type 2 proof continues to rise in value, especially in higher grades. And the best part? These coins are still surprisingly affordable for beginner collectors who want to start building a meaningful and potentially profitable collection. To sum it up, 1979 quarters without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia. Common but valuable in high grades. D mint mark quarters from Denver are also common but collectible in mint state. S mint mark proof quarters from San Francisco hold the biggest value, especially the rare Type 2 variety. Always check for mint errors. They could mean big bucks. And remember, what looks like just a regular old quarter might actually be a piece of American history, and maybe even a jackpot. Today, we're diving deep into a modern coin that's becoming a hot topic in the numismatic world, the 1990 D Washington quarter. Yes, the Denver minted quarter from 1990. You may have one in your change jar right now, and it could be worth far more than just 25 cents. So grab your magnifying glass and sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why some of these coins are selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1990 D quarter is part of the standard Washington quarter series. These coins have been minted since 1932 and feature the familiar bust of George Washington on the obverse and the American eagle on the reverse, a design that remained until the state quarters began in 1999. Now, here's what makes the 1990 D quarter interesting. It was produced at the Denver Mint, which is denoted by the small D mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Over 927 million of these were minted, which means it's far from rare in terms of raw mintage numbers. But what separates the common from the collectible are the hidden gems, error coins, high-grade examples, and unique varieties. Let's start with mint errors. These are mistakes that occur during the minting process, and collectors go wild for them. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1990 D quarters feature dramatic die breaks, off-center strikes, and double dies. If you find a 1990 D quarter that looks like the letters are doubled, especially in the word Liberty or In God We Trust, you might have a double die error, which can fetch upwards of $100 to even $500 depending on severity and condition. Then we have the off-center strike errors. Imagine a quarter where the design is visibly misaligned or shifted, leaving a blank crescent of the coin untouched. If the date and mint mark are still visible, these can sell for anywhere from $50 to $250, depending on how dramatic the error is. Now let's talk condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale called the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor 1 to mint state 70. Most quarters you find in circulation are going to fall somewhere between very fine and extremely fine, maybe negative $50 at best. But if you happen to find a 1990 D quarter in uncirculated condition, and I mean no scratches, no dings, full luster, and it grades as mint state 65 or higher, now we're talking serious value. In fact, according to recent auction results, an MS-67 graded 1990 D quarter sold for over $1,000. That's right, a quarter worth 25 cents face value, sold for $1,000 just because it was nearly flawless. And what about full strike details? Collectors are also on the lookout for what's known as full strike or full drum lines. These are quarters where every line on the eagle's tail feathers or the shield is fully visible. Strong strike detail, combined with high grade and no post-mint damage, can multiply a coin's value dramatically. So how can you tell if your 1990 D quarter is worth money? First, check for errors. Use a magnifying glass and look for doubling, missing design elements, or off-center strikes. Second, check the coin's condition. Is the coin shiny with original mint luster? No scratches or wear? Consider having it graded professionally by services like PCGS or NGC. Third, compare your coin to recent auction results. Websites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Great Collections are great places to research what similar coins are selling for today. Let's take a quick look at the current market values for different types of 1990 D quarters. Circulated condition face value up to $1, uncirculated MS-60 to MS-64, typically worth $5 to $25, MS-65 and higher, $50 to $300 or more. Known error coins ranges widely, but some bring $100 to $500 plus. Top grade MS-67 examples. Over $1,000 at auction. That's the power of condition and rarity combined. Keep in mind, prices fluctuate based on demand and collector interest, so values can go up or down over time. To sum it up, the 1990D quarter may seem ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it could be a hidden treasure. Whether it's an error coin or a pristine mint state example, you just might be holding on to a valuable piece of numismatic history. So check your pockets, your change jars, your coin rolls. You never know, one of these small, shiny pieces of history could turn out to be worth a small fortune. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket change or coin jar. We're talking about the 1993D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Now, at first glance, it might seem like just another ordinary coin, but stick around, because this one could be worth way more than 25 cents. In fact, rare versions of this coin have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And we'll break down WHYSO if you're into coin collecting, hunting for hidden gems, or just want to know if you've got a small fortune sitting in your pocket. Then hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump right in. The Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. history since 1932, but what makes the 1993D Mint Mark stand out? First, let's understand what the D Mint Mark means. It signifies that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. In 1993, over 765 million of these quarters were minted in Denver alone, so you might be wondering, with that many made, how can any of them be valuable? Well, the answer lies in condition, errors, and specific varieties. So let's break it down. There are three key factors that determine whether your 1993D quarter is worth more than face value. First is condition. Coins in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS-65 and above by PCGS or NGC, can sell for a premium. These coins have full detail, sharp strikes, and virtually no wear. Some pristine 1993D quarters in mint state have sold for $25 to $75, and the highest graded specimens, like MS-67 or MS-68, can fetch over $300. Second, we have errors. This is where the big money comes in. Mint errors are mistakes made during the production process, and collectors go crazy for them. Some of the most valuable errors found on 1993D quarters include off-center strikes, double dies, especially on the obverse. Look for doubling in Washington's I or the word liberty. Die cracks or cuds, clipped planchets, struck on the wrong planchet, like a dime or foreign coin. A well-preserved 1993D quarter with a dramatic error can sell for hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000, depending on rarity and eye appeal. Now let's talk numbers. As of 2025, the highest price ever paid for a 1993D quarter in mint state 68 was over $1,400 at auction. Why so much? Because coins of that quality are extremely rare. Most coins struck for circulation will grade around MS-60 to MS-64 if they haven't been damaged or heavily worn. Here are a few recent examples to give you perspective. A 1993D quarter graded MS-67 sold for $350. A double die obverse variety, raw but clearly visible, sold for around $200 on eBay. A major off-center error at 60% off-center sold for $500. Even a basic uncirculated coin in MS-65 condition could go for $25 to $50, so always check your change. You never know what treasure might be waiting. If you think you've got a 1993D quarter that might be valuable, here's what to do. First, check the coin's overall appearance. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect for signs of wear, luster, and detail. Look for the mint mark. It should be a small D to the right of Washington's ponytail. Next, compare it to images online or use tools like PCGS PhotoGrade. If you suspect it's in uncirculated condition or has an error, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A small investment in grading can massively increase your coin's resale value. If you're looking to sell your 1993D quarter, there are a few options. You can list it on eBay, Etsy, or Facebook Marketplace. Try a coin dealer or numismatic show, Auction houses like Heritage Auctions are great for high-end graded coins, and if you're a collector wanting to buy a 1993 D quarter in great condition, make sure to check reputable dealers or auction listings. Be cautious of counterfeits or overpolished coins sold at inflated prices. So, is the 1993 D quarter worth a lot of money? For the average coin, no, but for the right coin in the right condition or with the right error, absolutely yes. Whether it's a high-grade mint state coin or a rare mint error, there's serious value to be found, so start hunting. Look through your pocket change, check those old coin rolls, and keep an eye out for those hidden treasures. You never know, your next quarter could be worth hundreds, even thousands. Today's video is going to cover everything you need to know about the 1994 D Mint Mark $quarter coin. How much it's worth, what makes it valuable, and why some of these coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the collector's market. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the world of numismatics. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1994 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which started back in 1932. These coins were originally minted to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Washington, while the reverse shows a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings. BY 1994, the quarter was still being struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, not silver. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, produced over 880 million quarters that year. That's a massive number, which means the average 1994 D quarter isn't rare. However, not all coins are created equal, and some rare varieties and mint errors from that year can be worth serious money. Section 2. Identifying the 1994 D quarter 130. Now let's talk about how to identify the 1994 D quarter. You'll find the date and mint mark on the obverse of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. If you see a small D, that means your coin was minted in Denver. Most 1994 D quarters are worn and circulated. These usually only hold face value 25 cents. But collectors are always on the hunt for coins in pristine condition or those with unusual errors. So what makes some 1994 D quarters valuable? Let's break it down into 3 categories. Condition: the better the condition, the more it's worth. Coins graded mint state, MS, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, especially those above MS 65, can command much higher prices. An MS 67 or higher is extremely rare and highly sought after. Errors: now this is where it gets interesting. Certain errors from the 1994 D quarter are extremely rare and can be worth big money. Some examples include double die obverse, DDO. This error occurs during the striking process when the die hits the coin more than once, causing doubling of the design. Look for doubling in Washington's eye, mouth, or the date. Off-center strikes. These coins are not properly aligned during the minting process. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Die cracks or cuds. These appear as raised lines or blobs where the die was cracked or broken. While more common, they can still increase a coin's value if the error is prominent. Clipped planchets. Part of the coin is missing due to an error in the cutting process. These are fascinating and definitely collectible. Rarity of the error. Even if a coin has an error, the value depends on how rare and dramatic the error is. Minor errors are interesting but may not be worth much. Dramatic errors with clear visual appeal can fetch hundreds or more. Let's talk about actual value. What are people paying for these coins right now? Circulated 1994 D quarters without errors are typically only worth face value 25 cents. However, an uncirculated example in mint state 65 can fetch anywhere from $10 to $30 depending on demand. But when you get into the higher grades, say MS 67 or better, that's where the value jumps. One MS 67 1994 D quarter sold for over $300 at auction. Now, if you happen to find a 1994 D quarter with a rare error like a double die or a major off-center strike, you could be looking at values from $100 to several $100s, sometimes even more. And of course, if it's professionally graded by PCGS or NGC and slabbed with a label verifying the error, it increases collector confidence and value. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1994 D quarter? Start by checking the basics. Look for the D Mint mark. Inspect the coin's condition. If it has no visible wear and still has its original luster, it might be uncirculated. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to check for doubling, cracks, or off-center designs. Compare your coin with verified examples online or get it looked at by a coin dealer. If you think you have something special, consider submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, there's a fee, but if the coin is truly valuable, it's worth it.in summary. While the 1994 D-quarter is common in circulation, rare errors and high-grade examples can make them worth far more than face value. Keep your eyes peeled for those elusive varieties and always check your change. You never know what treasure might be sitting in your pocket. Today, we're diving deep into a very specific but fascinating year in American coinage, the 1995 quarter-dollar coins. You may think these coins are just ordinary, but think again. Some of them are worth thousands of dollars. That's right. We're talking mint marks, rare errors, collector demand, and how the coin market today values these gems. So grab your magnifying glass and let's go hunting. Segment 1, Background on the 1995 quarter. To understand the significance of the 1995 quarter, we have to start with some context. The year was 1995. Bill Clinton was president. eBay was founded. Toy Story became the first fully computer-generated movie. But in the U.S. Mint, quarters were still part of the standard Washington design, the same obverse design used since 1932, featuring George Washington's profile on the front and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. The 1995 quarter was struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, Denver coins are marked with a D, and San Francisco coins are marked with an S. The regular circulation strikes came out of Philly and Denver, while San Francisco only produced proof coins that year. Segment 2, Mintage numbers. Now let's look at mintage, or how many of these coins were produced. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1.1 billion quarters in 1995. The Denver Mint also produced around 1.1 billion. That's a huge number, which is why most 1,995 quarters you find in circulation are only worth face value. San Francisco, on the other hand, made about 2.1 million proof coins for collectors. These coins were not released into circulation and were meant to be preserved in original packaging, often as part of proof sets. And here's where it gets interesting. Within these 3 mints lie some rare varieties and errors that can be worth serious money. Segment 3, Valuable varieties and errors. So what makes a 1995 quarter valuable? It all comes down to 2 main factors: rare mint errors and special varieties. Let's break it down. Number 1, double die errors. While the 1995 Lincoln cent is famous for its dramatic double die, some collectors have reported minor double dies on 1995 quarters as well, especially on the motto "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." These are much rarer and usually subtle, but they can fetch between $20 to $100 or more depending on the clarity and demand. Number 2, off-center strikes. Coins that were not correctly aligned during minting can show a partial design shifted away from the center. A 1995 quarter with a 10 to 20% off-center strike in uncirculated condition can be worth $100 to $300 or more. Number 3, clipped planchets. Sometimes the metal blanks are punched too close to the edge of a sheet, leaving part of the coin missing. These clipped planchet errors are rare and very collectible, with prices ranging from $50 up to a few hundred depending on severity and eye appeal. Number 4, San Francisco proof errors. Here's where things get wild. The S-Mint proof coins were struck with extra care, but once in a while mistakes happened. A missing clad layer, a no-S proof, or a strike-through error can push values into the thousands. In one known instance, a proof coin with a missing mint mark was auctioned for over $3,000. Always check those proof sets, especially if the coins look off. Segment 4, Grading and condition. Let's talk condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1995 D or 1995 P quarter in circulated condition is usually worth just 25 cents. But in mint state condition, meaning a coin that has never seen circulation, the value can rise quickly. For example, a 1995 P quarter graded MS67 by PCGS sold for over $700 in auction. That's because very few examples of this coin survive in such pristine condition. PCGS and NGC are the 2 major coin grading services. A coin in MS65 is considered gem uncirculated. MS67 or higher is extremely rare for modern quarters and can command big money. Segment 5, How to spot valuable coins. So how can you tell if your 1995 quarter is valuable? Step 1. Look for errors and anomalies. Use a magnifier to inspect all the lettering and edges. Step 2. Check the coin's surface. Is it shiny, uncirculated, or has it seen wear and tear? Step 3. Flip it over. See if it's centered correctly. Any shift in alignment could mean an off-center strike. Step 4. Weigh it. A standard clad quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. A significant difference could mean a missing clad layer or a wrong planchet, and those can be extremely valuable. Step 5. Consider certification. If you think you've got a rare coin, send it in to be graded by PCGS or NGC. That can dramatically increase its value and resale potential. Segment 6. Market trends and recent sales. Now let's take a quick look at how the market has been treating these coins recently. As of 2024 and heading into 2025, collector interest in error coins and high-grade examples continues to grow. The rise of YouTube channels, TikTok coin hunters, and eBay auctions has increased public interest in these coins. Prices for certified MS67 and higher coins have remained strong, and rare mint errors are in high demand. Recent eBay sales show off-center errors selling for $100 to $300, while PCGS certified MS68 coins can push toward the $1,000 mark. The market is especially favorable for coins with eye-catching errors and official certification. Segment 7. Final thoughts. So, what's the takeaway? The 1995 quarter is one of those coins that flies under the radar. Most people overlook it, thinking it's just another piece of pocket change. But if you look closer, there are rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you've got a jar full of change at home, now's the time to go digging. Look for mint marks. Look for off-center strikes. And if you have any proof coins from a 1995 set, check those too. You never know. You could be holding a small fortune in your hand. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and valuable piece of American coinage, the 1999 D quarter, featuring the year 1787 and the Denver Mint mark. If you're holding on to one of these or just stumbled across one in your change jar, you'll want to stick around because this coin could be worth a surprising amount of money, depending on its condition, mint errors, and rarity. Let's break it down. What exactly is the story behind the 1999 D quarter marked with 1787? Narrator. First, let's be clear. The 1999 D quarter we're talking about is not just any Washington quarter. It belongs to the very first year of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, launched in 1999. These quarters were revolutionary because each one honored a U.S. state with a unique reverse design. The 1999 series included 5 states: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. And that brings us to the Delaware quarter, minted in Denver and dated 1999, but with 1787 prominently displayed. Now you may ask, why does the Delaware quarter have the date 1787? Well, 1787 is the year Delaware ratified the U.S. Constitution, the very first state to do so. That makes the date historically significant. So, although the coin was minted in 1999, the 1787 reference celebrates the origin of statehood and constitutional unity. Narrator. The Delaware quarter features Caesar Rodney on horseback, a delegate to the Continental Congress, making his legendary 80-mile ride to Philadelphia to cast the deciding vote for independence. This scene alone makes the coin rich in symbolism and American heritage. But here's the part that collectors love. The 1999 D Delaware quarter is one of the most sought-after coins in the modern series, not just for its historical design, but also because of the unique variations and mint errors found in some of them. Narrator. Let's talk rarity and value. Standard circulated 1999 D Delaware quarters aren't incredibly rare. In fact, over 401 million of them were minted in Denver alone. But, as any serious collector knows, rarity isn't just about mintage numbers. It's about condition and errors. If you have a 1999 D Delaware quarter in uncirculated or mint state condition, let's say graded MS65 or higher, it can fetch anywhere from $10 to $30. But get this, coins graded at MS67 or above can command values upwards of $100 to $200, depending on the market and demand. And that's just for high-quality coins. If your quarter has a known mint error, like a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds, or in rare cases, even thousands of dollars. One of the most well-known errors in the 1999 D Delaware quarter series is the spitting horse error. This error appears as a die crack that extends from Caesar Rodney's mouth, giving the illusion that the horse is spitting. Coins with this anomaly are highly sought after by error coin collectors. Narrator. Some verified sales of this specific error coin in mint state condition have reached values of $250 to $500, especially when graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. But let's go even deeper. Beyond mint state and error coins, collectors look for coins with full strike, excellent luster, no visible wear, and original mint brilliance. The presence of any or all of these attributes can significantly increase the value. So don't just glance at your change. Inspect it closely. Narrator. How do you know if your 1999 D Delaware quarter is valuable? First, check the mint mark. The D means it was minted in Denver. Then, look at the coin's overall appearance. Are there scratches? Is the image of Caesar Rodney sharp and well-detailed? Any unusual features like doubling or rim distortion? These can add to your coin's uniqueness and desirability. Next, get it graded. Professional grading gives your coin credibility and allows you to tap into the broader collector market. Narrator. As of this year, 2025, the coin market remains strong, especially for modern U.S. coins with historical value and interesting errors. Online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections consistently show these coins selling well. Especially for top-graded and error examples, a pristine 1999 D Delaware quarter graded MS68 by PCGS has sold for over $3,000 in auction. That's right, one single quarter, just 25 cents in face value, reaching thousands in actual market value. So where does this leave us? Narrator. Whether you're a veteran collector or someone just getting started, the 1999 D quarter with the 1787 date is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of history, an artifact of the first U.S. state, and in some cases, a highly valuable collectible. Take a moment, check your coins, and who knows, you might have a small fortune hiding in plain sight. And remember, it's not just about finding treasure. It's about preserving history, learning the stories behind our everyday objects, and enjoying the thrill of the hunt. Today, we're diving into one of the most curious and mysterious coins floating around in the collecting world, the 2004 quarter dollar coin with what some claim is an 1848 mint mark or striking error. Sounds wild? It is. But stay tuned because this coin story has fascinated collectors, and in some cases, it's fetched big bucks at auctions. You don't want to miss this one. Chapter 1. The basics? What is the 2004 quarter? Let's start with the basics. In 2004, the U.S. Mint released 5 quarters as part of the famous 50-state quarters program. These included coins representing Michigan, Florida, Texas, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Now, when we say 2004 we're talking about the Philadelphia Mint. The P mint mark is stamped on the obverse side of the coin, just below the motto, "In God We Trust." These quarters were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition and weighed 5.67 grams. But among these fairly ordinary coins, something strange began to pop up in collector circles. A 2004 quarter that appeared to bear the date 1848, or at least some kind of error marking that resembled this historic year. Chapter 2. The 1848 mark error, hoax, or hidden treasure. So where did this 1848 story come from? Let's clear the air. There is no official record from the U.S. Mint of a 2004 quarter being struck with an 1848 date or mint mark. What's more likely is that some collectors and dealers have identified coins with die cracks, doubling, or post-mint damage that visually resemble the numbers 1848 somewhere on the coin. Often on the reverse, hidden within the design or stemming from die deterioration. In particular, the Wisconsin quarter from 2004 became infamous for having extra leaf errors, variations in the corn stalk that made certain coins incredibly valuable. Some rare Wisconsin quarters sold for over $5,000. This stirred up national interest and caused people to inspect their coins with a magnifying glass. So the 1848 anomaly may be the result of similar excitement. Perhaps a die clash, a scratch, or just a trick of the eye. But here's where it gets interesting. Some collectors have authenticated coins with suspicious yet consistent markings that resemble numbers or misplaced digits. Chapter 3. Error coins and misstrikes. Why they're so valuable. Coins with errors have always been a hot topic in the collecting community. Whether it's a double die, a planchet error, an off-center strike, or a minting mistake, rare errors often carry big value because of their uniqueness. With the 2004 P quarter, we've seen examples with double dies, die breaks, clipped planchets, and yes, mysterious markings or ghost numbers that could resemble 1848. If these coins are authenticated by third-party graders like PCGS or NGC, their value can jump dramatically. Collectors love stories. And a coin that appears to blend 2004 and 1848, that's a story worth something. Chapter 4. Auction prices? How much are these quarters selling for? Let's talk numbers. A standard 2004 P quarter in circulated condition, worth just face value. Maybe a quarter more if you're lucky. But a 2004 P quarter with a legitimate error, whether it's one of the Wisconsin extra leaf varieties or another verifiable die flaw, can range from $50 to over $1,000 depending on the condition and rarity. And if you come across a 2004 quarter that genuinely features a mysterious 1848 marking or engraving that experts can't explain, and it's authenticated as a mint error or unique variety, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands at auction. In fact, some of these rumored pieces have been listed on platforms like eBay for as much as $10,000, though sales at that price are rare and typically depend on demand and verification. Chapter 5. How to spot a valuable 2004 P quarter. So, how do you know if you're holding a hidden gem? Here's what to look for. Check the date closely under magnification. Any doubling, ghosting, or strange numbers like 1848 should be examined. Inspect the reverse for extra leaves, especially if you're looking at a Wisconsin quarter. Look for die breaks, rim errors, or unusual text distortions. If something seems off, don't clean the coin. Send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Chapter 6. Coin values in 2025. What's the market doing? As of this year, 2025, the market for error coins remains strong. The coin collecting community continues to grow thanks to YouTube, TikTok, and online auction platforms. Rare errors are increasingly in demand. A verified 2004 P Wisconsin quarter with the extra high leaf can still fetch $500 to $1,500 in MS condition. And any authenticated mint error with visual anomalies like ghost numbers or unusual strikes can reach four figures depending on condition and provenance. So, if you're combing through change jars, flea markets, or old coin albums, don't overlook that 2004 P quarter. It might be worth far more than 25 cents. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into the mysterious world of the 2004 P quarter and the legend of the 1848 mint mark. Whether it's an error, an illusion, or a secret left by the mint, one thing's for sure. Collecting coins is always full of surprises. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe for more hidden coin treasure stories, and let me know in the comments if you've come across any rare 2004 quarters in your collection. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and as always, happy hunting!